Hey, just thought I'd show off some Pop Parade figures I got throughout the year that have been piling up, and because these figures are on the cheaper side, I always think it's fun to see which ones are hit or miss. For all the figures today, the boxes are pretty standard, nothing special, so we're just gonna jump straight into the figures. The first is Lucifer from a great little puzzle game with a bunch of demon waifus called Helltaker. The game is free, so I want to support it by getting some official merch, while also getting myself a boss lady in a full-on suit, which I don't think we get too many figures of. And for the price, I think this figure turned out pretty well. I think a large part of that is because Helltaker has a more cartoony art style, and I think Papa Parades have an easier time translating that when they're trying to keep costs low. But because of their price, the shading isn't always the best, you can really tell with the hair, but I do like the fact they gave her a glossy tail just to add a little more contrast. And while I think this figure is really good, part of me still wants to get the Nendoroid just to show off the other side of her personality. Then we got Ryugo from Kill la Kill. And just like Lucifer, she's got a lot of black, white, and red, but the red here is a little brighter, giving it a little more pop. I'm also glad they included her scissor blade. Some Papa Parade figures, like the Fate ones, don't give them their weapons. Which reminds me there is another pop-up of Ryugo coming out with her jacket instead of her blade, but I think I still prefer this one just because of her expression, the blade, and the fact that it's a little more dynamic, like there's wind blowing on her. Also, I never noticed that she has thunderbolts on her white shoes, but the thunder is also white. The next figure is Coconut from Nekopara. I'm not really a fan of the series, but I really like this character design. And I think Good Smile does too, because I think this is one of their best Papa Parade figures. Especially because this was only 3,900 yen before the price change. I mean, just looking at the hair and the tail sculpt, the freaking outfit has so many frills and little folds to it. The stockings even have some shading to it, and there's a little shine on the shoes. Next up we have Chica from Kaguya Love is War. I think the face on this one can look a little weird depending on the angle, and just not a very impressive figure, especially compared to Coconut, but you know, it's Chica, she's hilarious. And sometimes you just want a cheap figure to have that character in your collection and remind you of some funny or awesome moments from the series. Also, a unique thing about this particular Papa Parade figure is that she has a metal rod in her base, you know, to prevent any issues with leaning. Usually most Papa Parades just have a plastic little slot in the base. And last, and maybe least, is Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. I don't love the face, I think the tie looks pretty bad, and the seam lines on the shoulders are just so noticeable. This one is definitely because I want the character in my collection, and because I couldn't afford the nice Mega House figure. But you know, from a good distance, he doesn't look the worst, and he gets to enjoy his little harem. But yeah, let me know which was your favorite figure, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye.